What's going on, family? Welcome to your Monday night live stream. I'm your host, Sir Ashley Harrison, and I am your real estate advisor for the Carolinas. Now, I've been practicing real estate for over the past decade as an attorney, as an investor, and a licensed agent in both North and South Carolina. And I am fortunate enough to have a large team of agents helping, supporting. I support them, they support me at my disposal. So I'm going to bring this information to you, what I'm seeing based on the data, news reports, articles, but then also what I'm seeing day to day on my desk as far as contracts, negotiations, and what is actually happening in today's real estate market. Because sometimes when we hear it on the news, we're a little it's a little bit dated, right? To where the news happened, you're reporting stuff from a month ago, but we're in today's market. We're in the middle of March, end of March right now, which is typically the home buying, selling season. Real quick, if you have not already, go ahead, hit that like button. Let us know where you're watching from, where you're tuning in from. I would greatly appreciate it. I am supposed to have a guest today. Actually, supposed to have two guests today, but they're agents at my firm, and they're working. They got tied. One of them got tied up and will not be able to make it. The other one is rushing to get back in front of the computer. I can't be mad at them because they're working. They're helping. Actually, they're both helping. One just got a listing, and one is helping a buyer right now. So kudos to both of you. I will hopefully see one of you on later today. What's going on, JR? Thank you for rocking with me from Kannapolis. Michael Mack from Buffalo. Leslie, Tampa, Leslie, sorry. I'm actually headed to, not Tampa, I'm headed to Miami come Wednesday. I'm excited. Wednesday night or Thursday morning, I'm not sure yet. Haven't booked a ticket. So sometime soon, I will be going to Florida. Buffalo, I'm from upstate New York. That's where my heart is. So definitely love it. Actually, those of you who aren't from upstate New York, you would know nothing about this. I actually had the opportunity. I passed up on a garbage plate today. Now, it's not garbage plate like we know from upstate New York. It's similar, but I passed up on a garbage plate today. I was really, I was craving it, but I ended up going with a healthier option. You would appreciate that, Michael. Crystal, thank you for rocking with us. Crystal, I got some news. I'm not going to share it right now. I will share it when it's official, but I'll let you and your husband know. She's tuning in from Gastonia. Let's see. Safe travels. Originally from South Florida. I moved to Tampa years ago. Bought my first home here in 2017. I had a couple people that bought in 2017 in the Tampa area, and you bought at a great time because you were able to take advantage of a huge amount of appreciation. Now it has softened up a little bit, the Tampa market. I'm not sure if you have a condo or single family home. It has softened up a little bit, but I mean, your home probably went up 40, 50, dare I say 60% in that time frame. So it doesn't hurt to give back 10, 15%. But yeah, that's the home price and interest rate. Amen. I want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about home prices, interest rates, and what's happening in the market that I'm seeing again, day to day, helping people. And not just me. I can't say I'm the only one helping people. My agents, they're able to tell me what's happening, what they're seeing. Michael Mack, yes, Rochester garbage plates are an acquired taste, most definitely. And in the Charlotte area, there is something called a garbage truck. It's a food truck, and they serve garbage plates. And then they have the Town Tavern, which is a local restaurant as well. They have their take on garbage plates. So I did not get one from Town Tavern earlier today, even though my heart was telling me to go ahead and do so. Now let me jump in here. Now, last week we talked about the housing market and the February numbers, and I want to just highlight that year over year, sales are down. Sales are down 8.7%. Now, you have to take that with a grain of salt because interest rates are they're lower than they were last year at this time, but yet sales are down. Now, they're up 9% from January. Now, what does that mean for sellers? This is where I want to have a heart-to-heart with sellers because what I'm seeing with all the data is sellers haven't quite adjusted to the 2025 market. They still think that we're in 2023, 2022, and 2021. That couldn't be further from the case. Uh, Tracy King says Huntersville very overpriced. We'll talk about Huntersville a little bit, and this is that area being overpriced. But sellers have this notion that they're gonna their home is gonna sell very quickly and just fly off the shelves like it did, past years. But what we're seeing right now is inventory is picking up. I'll give you the exact number shortly, but sellers right now, I want you to be realistic. And realtors, this is where you have to do your job. Set the proper expectations and let sellers know. Don't tell them something just so you can get the listing and then tell them afterwards. No, you see the data, you see what's happening. Let them know right now that what to expect, the average days on market for that price point. Every price point's a little different. But for that price point, and if you want to sell quickly or get it under contract and beat out the competition, because there's more homes on the market too, we'll go over that. You should price it very competitively. Now, I'm not saying give your home away by any means, but if you have two homes in the same neighborhood, similar square footage, built around the same time, similar design features. I know everybody thinks their home is better, but as a buyer, I'm just going off of numbers. And yes, some homes do feel much better on the inside. But when you're looking at it, does your home justify, let's just throw out a random number, 450 when your neighbor is offering 435? Now, your home may be sitting on the market significantly longer if your neighbors is at 435 and went under contract right away. That's actually something I was dealing with recently with a buyer uh, in this neighborhood. In South Charlotte, there wasn't much inventory. There wasn't much selection in the neighborhood when we went under contract. But since going under contract, getting inspections done and everything, we saw that there were some challenges with the inspection report. Well, since then, several homes have come on the market in this particular neighborhood. And we use that to our advantage because when we went in to get the inspection in the Carolinas, right, you get an inspection and then you can negotiate, the price again. You can either ask for seller concessions, you can ask for repairs, something to remedy what's taking place with the inspections. And we were able to get the price reduced some because of one, it needed to be, it was fair, but we leveraged the other listings on the market in doing so because fine, we can back out during the due diligence process and go buy a home right down the street, right? So sellers, you need to be aware that there is competition now. Inventory is picking up. Now, are we at pre-COVID levels? No, we're not there, but we are picking up in inventory. And what we're seeing right now in this spring buying and selling season is that buyers are very reluctant or hesitant to come to the market right now, but the sellers are the ones that are putting their homes on the market. And that is doubly challenging for sellers because sellers are often buyers, whether buying locally or relocating, buying somewhere else. And if they can't get their home under contract, they can't buy that next home. So you as a seller needs to look at the bigger picture. Yes, everybody wants the most money possible for their home, but you having that unrealistic price or your realtor not telling you the truth and having you believe that this price that you want is obtainable in a short period of time is really maybe causing yourself a disservice because you're missing out on all the other properties available on the market, right? So you just have to do that cost benefit analysis and wonder, all right, I want the most money for my house, but am I missing out on opportunities? Can I lower the price on my home, get it under contract? Because very rarely is a buyer going to accept your offer if your home isn't under contract because their sale depends on your sale. It's just a domino effect. We got Michael here. As a buyer, do you have concerns with an outdated bathroom? Would you rather put in your own spin on it? Sorry, would you rather put your own spin on it as the buyer or have one up to date when looking at a home? Good question. Personally, it depends. Now, up to date, now, ideally, I would like a newer home to where I'm not worried about somebody's renovations for that bathroom. I would just like a newer home. So, newer bathroom, more up to date bathroom because the home in general is newer. But regarding renovations and everything like that, that's a case by case basis. If it's an older home, would I want the dated bathroom or one renovated? It's a case by case basis because some people that renovate the home do an excellent job. Like they do it as if they're going to live in that home. Other people almost put lipstick on a pig, is what we call it in the industry. They just freshen it up enough, but it's still not any issues that was going on with the bathroom, the dated plumbing or whatever. It's not rectified. So they just made it look pretty without really addressing the issue. So case by case basis, if they did a good job with the renovation, as far as not just aesthetically, but behind the walls, the plumbing and making sure everything is functional, I would go with the updated bathroom. But if not, I would rather you not touch it at all and let me fix it, but get a discount. I'll take that in consideration when I'm making my offer so I can get a discount on the price and knowing that I'm going to have to do these bathroom updates. Hopefully that answers your question. Where are we at here? I want to share with you a couple articles from, if you are a longtime viewer, Lance Lambert with Resi Club. He is just a wealth of knowledge, and I pay for the subscription, so you don't have to. And I'd like to share with you a couple of his articles and insights because it just gives you a better picture of what's actually happening in the housing market beyond what I'm seeing. He's actually looking nationally, and I can talk about how it relates here to the Charlotte market as soon as I'm able to share the screen. All right. So let me know, put a thumbs up or let me know if you can see the screen, see this article in the chat section. Okay, you can see it. Yes, perfect. Thank you. This one is, this Fortune 500 builder has yet to see the pickup typically associated with the beginning of the spring selling season. Now, again, this is regional. Now they're looking at this as a national picture, but every region is a little bit different. You'll see in this article that Texas and Florida is very much behind in the spring selling and buying season. Nobody notified Texas and Florida that it's home buying season or home selling season. But is the builder they're talking about, is seeing a slowdown. And one thing I wanted to point out was while Lennar is seeing a slowdown nationally, there's certain builders locally that can't keep homes on the market. I'm thinking about D.R. Horton and several of their communities. Their homes are flying off the shelves. Thinking about Meritage and a few of their communities, homes are flying off the shelves. So it really depends on where the home is located. And obviously, we'll see in the article different incentives and pricing matters. But I just want to make it clear to where while you see this report and I'm sharing it with you, there are some areas in the Charlotte area and in the country where homes are still selling fast. But there's even some homes in the greater Charlotte area that have been sitting on the market for an extra long time, even new construction. I'm thinking about this community here in Fort Mill, TK. You have these 800, 900, even $1 million homes literally just sitting. And they might be sitting for a while. I know they don't want it to be because it's holding cost, but it really depends on the purchase price and the inventory matching the buyer demand, right? Um, Here it says Lennar continues to see weakness in Florida and Texas. Uh, Lennar was offering a builder's promotion here in Tampa, but still quite a bit on the market. No, so Lennar is definitely offering, well, most builders right now is offering some kind of builder incentives. Now, in certain communities here in the Charlotte area, those incentives have started to started to go away because they realize that the demand is there from buyers without having to coax them or give them extra incentives to buy. But that's where I want to just make sure you're aware that you don't wait and miss out on these incentives. Reach out to me, reach out to a local real estate professional in your area to see some areas you have an opportunity to sit back and wait. Nothing's going to happen. They may reduce the price, they may increase incentives if you wait, but then other ones, you're going to miss out on these crazy, ridiculously low interest rate incentives. I had a buyer just missed out on a 4.99 interest rate, 30-year fixed interest rate incentives from a builder because this community was selling fast and they changed the incentives before we were able to go under contract. Now, they didn't owe my client or me anything because we hadn't made an offer. We were just sitting back. My client was hesitant, was on the fence. Well, that hesitation caused her to miss this opportunity. And now they do still have an incentives where it's 5.5% for a 30-year fix, but that's going to cost her 150 more dollars every single month now, right? So she could have saved that money if she would have acted a little swifter. Uh, Here we are, average selling price. It's right around the Charlotte area. Average selling price you see for Q1 2025 is just over 400,000. Here in the Charlotte area, the median home price is 370, with the average being around 450, 430 to 450, I believe. Now, this is what Lennar is doing, especially in Florida and Texas. They're deploying, this is what Leslie mentioned before, they're deploying bigger sales incentives. There was a townhouse community in Gastonia. Those of you who aren't familiar with the Charlotte area, Gastonia is just west of Charlotte in Gaston County. And for the townhouses, they're offering a 3-2-1 buy down. Let me share what that is real quick. For the first year, the interest rate was 3.5%. Can't beat it. Second year, 4.5%. And then years 3 through 30, it will be 5.5%. So that was a crazy sales incentives to close out that community. And they did an excellent job and they closed it out. I had a video of the townhome that they were offering these incentives on. But before literally the weekend I filmed it, they sold 10 of those townhouses, the last 10 remaining. So there was no point in sharing it with you because they're not available. But just to let you know, they are offering that here in certain markets to be able to bolster or let the sales happen a little quicker. Leslie has a question. If the builder offer incentives, will they negotiate the home price? Yes. Yes. Everything is negotiable. But this is where you have to be realistic as far as where you stand as a buyer, right? And knowing, and you may not know this, that's why you need a real estate professional, and it's no cost to you when you go talking to these builders, at least in the Carolinas. I can't speak nationally. Cost to you because the builders will be paying your realtor's commission, even though your realtor will be looking out for you. But the realtor should know as far as what's happening in that area, in that market, in that community, to know how to position your offer. Just because, now this isn't like a shoe store when the shoes on the shelf tell me 150, I have to pay 150. Like they're not haggling, they're not negotiating for that pair of Nikes for me. With the single family homes or even townhomes here in the Carolinas and nationally, that asking price is just that. It's just that. I would say last month, this is March, so in February, I'm always shouting out Danny Mullen. He might be on the stream, he might not be, I'm not sure, but I'm always shouting him out because he is absolutely amazing. He's my brother for one. Not biologically, but he's just my brother in spirit. And there was a client he was shopping for. The purchase price for the home, new construction, was offered at 360. 360. They offered like $15,000 in seller concessions for closing costs and everything, which is a decent deal. Not to Danny. Not to Danny. And I love how aggressive he was. He went in at like 320. Made an offer at 320, asked for more concessions, $20,000 in concessions, and the builder, I know this builder, the president of the builder of this builder, locally regional president, he came back and was like, absolutely not, right? But then they were jousting back and forth for it seemed like a couple of days. It ended up being like 6 emails, but a couple of days, and 360. He didn't get 320, but he got it just under 340 with more concessions from the builder. So 340, just under, let's say it's 338, 339, but let's say 340 plus $20,000 in concessions, but the asking price was 360. So yes, you can always negotiate. You need a pit bull looking out for your best interest. And there's ways in which you can do it. I'm not saying the pit bull has to be, the agent has to be rude or obnoxious. It really is just navigating the climate we're currently in right now. And right now, in certain communities, you can do that all day. Other communities where I told you they had 10 sales within a weekend, that Lennar community, there was no negotiating because they had so many buyers coming in and they already had those incentives. They weren't negotiating price because if you didn't want it, they just went to the next person, right? So it really just depends on where you're at, where you're looking to buy. Michael Mack asks, are the 321 offers still on the table? For most builders, no. They're not on the table for most builders. Most builders are offering a flat buy down at some is at 4.99 is rare, but some builders do it right now. 5.5% for 30-year fixed. That is the most common in this area. And then you have some builders offering 5.99. Now with that, you can still get seller concessions and buy it down even further, or you can use those seller concessions to pay for your closing costs. It really depends on, I say every situation is a little different. We just have to run the numbers and see what best works for you. But as far as the builders offering 3-2-1 buy downs, I don't want to say a blanket no, but it's not common right now because there's more buyers in the market. And remember, builders aren't just competing with resale homes, they're competing with other builders. So if the other builders aren't offering 3-2-1 buy downs or offering interest rates at 4.99, talking about mass builders, their competitors like, well, if they're getting away with 5.5%, let us get away with 5.5%, right? No need to buy it down even further and to cut into their profit margin. That's their rationale. Let me scroll on. This talks about the gross margins and everything. These builders, the margins have been compressed since COVID, but they're still making a lot of money on each home, right? And this is where a lot of builders are able to take advantage and make a profit, is they're choosing to sell volume over margins. They realize they're going to make their profits by selling more homes as opposed to making a killing off of one home in particular, right? And that's what they're doing. When they sold 10 homes in a weekend, they're like, we're just going to do it at scale as opposed to, trying to get the most out of one home buyer. Now this is the top. This is 2023. I don't need to go over this. It's a little dated, but the top home builders. And this is what I want to talk about as well: the impact of tariffs or lack thereof. As of right now, presently, which is what, March 24th. Home builders, for the homes that are on the market right now, meaning they've already been built, they've already been constructed, or they already have the materials necessary for them to be finished, there's no impact for the tariffs on pricing. So this is another buyers are in a tough situation, right? Because as inventory sticks like creeps up a little bit, that looks good and works in the buyer's benefit because to compete, either you're going to lower the price or increase incentives. But with all this looming economic uncertainty, with tariffs and everything, if we all know we've seen it in COVID, if goods, the lumber, siding, fixtures cost more money, those builders are just going to pass that cost on to the end consumer, the buyer. And while it looks positive that prices will come down or soften some, not crash. There's a difference between soft and crash, soften and crash. The uncertainty with tariffs means that home prices will possibly either, when they should come down, either stay the same or even go up higher because they're just going to pass that cost on to you, right? And these are homes that will probably be ready, thinking of permitting and everything like that, would be June, July, August. Those homes right there were the ones that will see the impact as far as pricing with tariffs, because actually this past weekend I went out with a client. Shout out to Sharon. We went out with her, and there was a home on the market. This builder was letting us know it's coming on the market. It'll be ready and finished in July, but they couldn't give us pricing. They can give us pricing on homes ready in June, ready in May. They could not give us pricing, even though the structure's there. It's not fully finished. They're waiting on drywall and stuff like that. So they're waiting on materials. They could not give us a price because it's the uncertainty. And we're seeing that in the day-to-day business. And then when we talk about home prices as well, we have to talk about labor cost. And let's just face it, let's be real. The skilled labor that it takes to build a home in American schools, we don't really push our kids to trades. And with the Great Recession, a lot of builders went out of business, so we lost a generation of builders, of people in the trades. So we rely on an immigrant population to they're mainly building our homes, right? And this is the share of documented in 2021, documented and undocumented workers as far as for drywall installers, roofers, painters, paper hangers, brick masons, construction laborers. Now, God forbid if people continue to be deported, that's going to raise the cost of home pricing because one, there's going to be less workers. Two, we just the workers, if you had to get work done recently, plumbing or electrical in your house, electricians and plumbers pretty much write their own ticket. They could, I know jobs that would have cost maybe $100 prior to COVID. Right now is about $250 to $300 because there's no competition, and they understand they're in demand. That's going to be the same thing with all of these workers, is they know that their labor is in demand, especially in the Carolinas where there's tons of building taking place. And if you want quality builders to build those homes that are skilled, have been in the business for a while and knowledgeable, not somebody learning on the job, you're going to have to pay a premium dollar for that. And those are just some of the costs that people don't really associate or don't really factor in when they're thinking about home pricing and where things are going to be going. Here we go. Let's check this one out. Now, this is another article, different article, talking about, let me preface it real quick. I'm going to go on to the next article, and what it's going to talk about how institutional investors have pulled back a little bit. And again, I'm showing opportunity for buyers right now. It's a little weird position, as I mentioned, but there is opportunity, and you can create great deals for yourself. Great deals aren't just going to fall out of the sky. Like, because if it was great, you have multiple offers on it, and then that once great deal would no longer be great because everybody's bidding on it, bidding it up. But you have opportunity in this market as a buyer to be able to create an excellent opportunity for yourself and your family, with home prices, with financing, with just structuring the deal, and having knowledgeable people on your side to be able to position you to structure it in a favorable way. It's worth its spade. It's worth its weight in gold. But let's go to this article where it talks about one of the largest institutional home buyers is in a buying slump. And that's good for you buyers because you're not competing against them. During COVID, you were competing against these institutional investors or just investors in general. You're not really doing that right now, so that creates more market share for you. Just talks about how they're pivoting, how much money they've been spending, and how this one Progress Residential owns around almost 100,000 single-family rentals, including 8,000 build-to-rent properties. And one of the things we're seeing in this area is, if you haven't seen my video talking about rent-to-own or rent-to-own properties, that is happening in North Charlotte right now, just north of Charlotte. We're talking about what? Mooresville, Iredell, Statesville, right around there. You're seeing these communities rent to own, but also in Charlotte proper and in those same communities, you're seeing a lot of build to rent, brand new homes being built just for rentals. Give me 1 second. I'm seeing. All right, let's go to the next one. Zillow. Zillow talks about their downgrading their price forecast for 2025. And now this goes back to what I was sharing with you all a couple weeks ago. Virtual Business Solution says Troutman is as well. Yes, there's a lot of rent to own and build to rent in Troutman as well. In Troutman as a whole, there's just a lot of building going on in Troutman, Sherrills Ford. That is one of those, I talk about it here, but I don't think it's getting enough attention, where you can get good deals and opportunities in the greater Charlotte area. As demographics shift, you're going to go further out, further north, further west, further south, and we're seeing that with Troutman. In the chat, where are you all seeing it? Are you seeing it in the Huntersville area, Tracy? Where are you seeing a lot of build to rent communities? I'm thinking of two over by Mount Holly, Huntersville Road in Charlotte, several build to rent communities. And one of them is absolutely beautiful. Large homes. Actually, I can't say for sure, but by looking, I haven't gone on the inside of these homes, but by looking on the outside, I believe they took the same floor plans or from Pulte and just built those homes in this build to rent community. And it looks very nice. Now, back to Zillow's downgrading and the home price forecast. Again, it's looking favorable for buyers. It's looking favorable because what we're going to see is they're projecting just a 0.8% increase from February 2025 to February 2026. Now, in 4 or 5 years, if I'm wrong, I will tell you I'm wrong. And I'm sure people in the comment section will let me know that I'm wrong. My daughters, they will let me know that I'm wrong. But based on the numbers, I believe that we've already seen the most home appreciation equity for this decade, for the 2020s. We've already experienced it. We're going to be playing around +1, +2%, -1, -3% for the next 5 years. That's what I think. And during that time frame, home prices won't be going up but the interest rates will be going or hopefully coming down and not going up. But it's going to be interest rate uncertainty. But what will be going up, we're going to see a K recovery, K-shaped recovery. We're going to see the income of a significant portion of the country go up. And they're going to be able to capitalize and buy homes because interest rates would have hopefully leveled off and home prices have not picked up. What ended up catching up was their money in their pocket, their income is catching up to what the home prices are and making it quote unquote affordable. Now, there's going to be another section of the economy, I said K-shape, where you have a line and then one portion goes up, the other portion is going to go down, and that is what's concerning to me. But that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing in this economy, where especially with the stripping away of different entitlements and Section 8 and Medicaid and everything like that. I'm not sure about Medicaid just yet, but Section 8, different other entitlements being stripped away. We're going to see the have-nots still have less than what they have right now, which is depressing. But Leslie says, there's one next to my community. They're really nice, but I noticed they don't have any amenities like a clubhouse or pool. I'll touch on that in a second. Tracy King Cornelius has a lot of homes to rent, 2-bedroom, 2-bath for $3,400 and up, over 300 new build. Hold on. Cornelius, 3,400. I'm gonna have to look this up because that rent is absolutely insane for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath in Cornelius. Now, are these townhouses? They have to be townhouses for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but 3,400 still seems insane for a townhouse. Now, does that community have any amenities? Because let's see, I would have to agree. Most of them don't have amenities for these rent-to-own communities. Now, there's a couple in South Charlotte that do have a nice pool area, but as general rule of thumb, most of them don't. Building is the way to go. You can control the end price and offer some affordability. I'm with you to an extent. Virtual business solutions, 2-bedroom, 2-bath homes. That's tough because at least in what I'm hearing is that while people will do 2-bedroom, 2-bath, it's not preferred. Most people like the minimum of at least 3 bedrooms, but if the price dictates it, then you would go 2-bedroom, but 2-bedroom, 2-bath for 3,400 seems that's not like you're not winning in either section there because you're only getting 2 bedrooms and you're paying a premium, right? But back to building is the way to go. Those of you that follow the channel know I love new construction. I love the incentives. I love what's happening. But, well, historically. But right now in this market, if you have a resale home that's been sitting on the market for a significant time and you like it, it checks off all your boxes, I say shoot your shot. Go ahead and shoot your shot. Make that offer, see what's happening, because you might be surprised. You don't quite know how motivated a seller is until an offer is presented to them, because I told you I'm an investor. I've been investing for over a decade. Somebody may say no to an offer today, but in 2 weeks, I can make an offer for a lower price because it has happened and they accept it. So just because somebody said no 2 weeks ago, don't mean they'll say no today. So you may be able to, even if you don't lower the price, be able to get some amazing incentives or seller concessions from the seller for a resale home. But you have to know how to position that offer and just make that offer. And with some of these, the benefits of a resale home is one, typically the neighborhood. Neighborhood already has a reputation. You know that, right? Typically, typically, Charlotte area is all over the place. So This may not be applicable moving forward, but historically, you knew what school it was zoned for. You knew where the school was. You know, everybody was still, all the kids were still going to the same school in that neighborhood. Now you have neighborhoods where they're divided to 2, 3 schools. But those are the benefits of some resale homes. And sometimes the construction was just built very solid back whenever they built the home. And if it had some nice renovations or updates, whether it be new roof, an HVAC system, you could be on a win-win situation. So yes, I like new construction. I like building. I like the incentives. I like knowing that nobody else has messed anything up in the house, the unknown and the warranties that come with it. But when you buy a resale home, I don't submit an offer for a resale home without asking for a warranty, or at least money to go toward a warranty. And I think that's just wise, because systems fail. And the last thing you do after you made your down payment, after you paid closing costs, is put down another $8,000 for an HVAC system. You don't want that. You don't want that. So long as you have a warranty, you might have to pay you will have to pay a deductible, but the large bulk of that is taken care of. Yeah. I'm glad you agree. I'm glad you agree. Any questions? What are you all seeing in the housing market right now? What questions do you have? How can I help? How can I assist? Because this market, while I want to tell you we're in the heart of the spring buying and selling season, we are in certain price points. Other price points, it is very stagnant. So you might be able to carve out some niches for you. And you sellers out there, you need to just be realistic. You need to be realistic in what's happening in this market. Do not compare your home to your neighbor's home that sold 2 years ago. I have a question. Um, Ebony, I'm in a Progress rental. There's a HOA in the neighborhood pool. When moving to the area, I went to Progress because they offer rentals without breed restrictions for dogs. That has since changed. So, yes. So another reason why you might want to look at an existing community is, at least in the Charlotte area, existing communities typically had more amenities. Now, in the Charlotte area, in order to have amenities, I say this is a general rule, it's not a blanket rule, but in order to have amenities like a pool, a clubhouse, and everything, you typically have to be at a 550 price range or above. Now, there are exceptions. You have Fergus Crossing in York, which is a suburb of Charlotte in South Carolina. That community has everything. It has a pool, it has pickleball courts, it has playground, it has walking trails. And reach out to me, because you can get 5-bedroom homes right now for under $400,000. Now, are you out of Charlotte proper? You are. You're about 30 to 35 minutes southwest of Charlotte. But we're talking about good schools, amazing amenities, 5-bedroom home for under $400,000 with an interest rate at 5.5%. So reach out to me. Love to help you, get you on track and find those communities for you. But talk about resale or older home, or even homes that have been built. I say older. I say more than 10 years old is older, classifies as older, because you technically don't have any of those builder warranties still in place. You can get a pool and different things like that in those communities. Leslie, come on, bring your questions. What you got? Virtual Business Solutions, seeing more foreclosures in zip codes like 28221, 28273, 28278. Now, let me see if I can pull this article up. This is where I was hoping, let me see, check my text. All right. I was hoping, I just got a feedback. So I'm not having the guests jump on. We're going to make sure these two guests, I'm getting a little sidetracked. These two guests that I wanted to bring on today are absolutely crushing the market right now. They are one was top three agent in one of my offices for 2024. The other one is technically brand new to real estate, but she's done more deals than a lot of experienced agents. So I don't know how much longer she can wear the moniker of new agent because she has more experience than a lot of the seasoned agents or veteran agents. It's not about how long you're in the business, it's about how much production. What are you doing in the business? Somebody can have their license for 10 years and not sell as many homes as one of my guests that I was trying to bring on today. So hopefully next week or week after we can get them on. But back to foreclosures, there is an article out here that I'm about to try to search for right now. In the Charlotte area, it is the number one city in our country for people facing economic pressures and feel economically insecure. Let me see if I can find this article. All right. I can't find the article. I don't want to leave you all and try to search for it. But no, you are seeing a lot more foreclosures, and this is where I was actually talking to one of my agents today about this. This is where those people that are facing foreclosures are getting a notice of default. So this is where vocabulary and definitions matter because while technically, yes, you're seeing a lot more foreclosures, what ends up happening was what you're actually seeing is a notice of default. A lot more notice of defaults are being filed in the respective county, whether it be Mecklenburg, whether it be York, whether it be Iredell, Cabarrus, or Gaston County. You're seeing a lot more notice of defaults being filed in Union County. Now, what that means is that the homeowner is at least 90 days late. They can't file a notice of default, quote unquote, starting a foreclosure until they're 90 days late. And we are seeing a uptick in people filing or getting this foreclosure notice. Now, buyers, you see this as opportunity, which I'm not saying don't, but it's not an opportunity for today. It's an opportunity that you're going to see in it depends on the sellers, on the owners, because what that means is the owners that get that notice of default. Um, I see you said a good amount of REOs as well. So, but the sellers that get the notice of default, they have options. They can choose to one, try to work with the bank, which a lot of people do, get some kind of payment plan, some kind of settlement to where I'm trying to think the correct term, but a payment plan to where they do well for 3 months at a certain payment, and then they just put down or put the back payments on the end of the loan, and then everything's good. Or they can choose to sell it, reach out to a real estate agent or an investor and sell it. If you are a seller in this position, I don't recommend. I'm an investor, so I'm just being honest with you. I'm an investor, but I don't recommend you reaching out to an investor unless your home is in awful shape, if it needs significant amount of work, because you're not going to get as much money or top dollar selling it to an investor than you would if you put it on the market and even sold it with a real estate agent, right? Now, if you want to sell it at a discount, by all means, reach out to me. Um, I have buyers. I'm a buyer. But to put you in the best position possible, reach out to me. We can list it. And if it's taking too long, we can buy it. We can offer that. Or we can still go back to those institutional buyers. But it's better to see what you can get at market value as opposed to taking that discount right away. Right. And yes, we say they can short sale. And I have in Statesville, this is the first time I've seen a short sale across my desk, right? Again, I help over 150 agents across my desk in at least 4 years. And what ended up happening is we're seeing a lot of short sales with homes that have been, not a lot, that's relative. We're seeing short sales with homes that have been bought in the last, say, 18 months, to where they haven't been able to appreciate significantly. And while they have some appreciation, by the time they sell it and pay all the closing costs, realtor fees, and all that, they're upside down. So the lender would have to agree to a short sale, and a short sale is the lender agreeing to take less than what is actually owed on the property. That we are seeing that for homes that have been bought within the last 18 months because those owners haven't been able to capitalize on the amount of equity. Forbearance. Now forbearance is a tricky one. For years, everybody was saying forbearance would lead to the end of forbearance would lead to a housing crash. That has not happened. And the amount of homes in forbearance right now is less than 1% of homes in our country. So that is an option. I've also seen options to where lenders have agreed to do a 40-year mortgage. That is an option to some, not all owners when they want to restructure their loan. But what that would do is make your loan payment lower because it's extended out additional 10 years. But with that said, you're really not paying any principal payments for the first 14 years. So you just have to see exactly what's best for you. In principle, as far as, not going toward interest. Those are options that people are dealing with right now. Tracy, this is the homes in Cornelius, right? The single family homes. River Rock Alexander Farms, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, $3,200 to $3,300 a month. They dropped the price a little in Cornelius. Not far from Birkdale Village. I forget that. So when I think of Cornelius, I think of Cornelius. I forget that intersection. So you have Birkdale Village, and then you have the main intersection at main intersection right by the highway. If you make that right or left where Kohl's, Lowe's, and everything is, that's technically Cornelius. So you're in Huntersville. As soon as you make that left, you're in Cornelius, and that's where that is. I keep forgetting that that is Cornelius because in my mind, logically, that should still be. It still should be Huntersville, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. And I think 3-bedroom. Okay, I see 3. I don't see it for 2-bedroom though. In that area, 2-bedroom, even in Cornelius at 3,100, 3,200 seems absurd. 3 bedrooms, more palatable. You also have the different Birkdale Village. Birkdale Village is undergoing will be undergoing a huge renovation, more renovations. So that's going to be a main detractor to where right now we're scoffing at 3,100, 3,200, 3,300. In 3-4 years, it's going to be 36 to 38, in my opinion, just because of all the amenities and shops and stuff all around there. One thing I do want to touch on before I wrap up is why we're seeing so many foreclosures. Hold on. Sorry, I told you there wasn't going to be a guest. She's texting me right now. Let's see if we can get her on. Perry, I'm about to send you the link real quick. All right, I just emailed it over to you. I should be able to see you pop up in the background, but back to foreclosures and what we're seeing. Reason why I'm seeing these people, what I'm hearing from actual people going through foreclosure is they may have gotten a 3-2-1 buy down when they bought the home. And when you get approved for a home, you actually get approved at that highest monthly payment at the end, like the highest interest rate payment. That's what you get approved for. So on paper, you can afford it. I don't know if I'll get to you in 1 second, Leslie. You can afford it. But if you've gotten comfortable with paying that lesser payment, that 3.5% interest rate or 4.5% interest rate for the first 2 years, and you're like, this is what I'm comfortable with, and you haven't been budgeting, thinking about the 5.5, like that change may shock you, that monthly payment difference. Also, one thing that I didn't fully account for, being honest, being transparent, is the increase in both insurance costs. Remember, we just that was proposed last year, and within the next 2 years, insurance costs in the Charlotte area is going up 18%, 9% this year, 9% next year, or is it 16, 8 and 8, whatever, 8 or 9% in the next 2 years. So once you incorporate or weight or factor in the increased insurance costs, 8% this year, let's just go with the lower number, and then the increase in the mortgage payment because the interest rate shifted, and we just had property taxes reassessed. The increase in property taxes, your payment could go up. Your monthly payment could go up $500 to $700 a month, which is significant. And if you already were in a bind, additional $500 to $700 additionally a month could cripple you. So I totally get it. I understand it. Why foreclosures have been picking up, because it's not just the interest rate you're accounting for. You're accounting for the increase in insurance costs. You're accounting for the increase in taxes. But hopefully, prayerfully, you've had this home for more than 2.5, 3 years in this area, and you have significant equity. So you have options to where, yes, ideally, you can sell and cash in, get that equity, and have a nice little nest egg to whether if you want to buy somewhere else or at least rent somewhere else, and you have 6 figures in your pocket to be able to do so comfortably, that's an option. Or what I have had people do is sell, take that equity, and buy a little further out. Buy in York, buy in Lancaster, buy in Stanley, North Carolina. And so they take that profit and put it in an area that hasn't quite developed as much as other areas here in Charlotte. And they're able to capitalize on lower price, not get the same interest rate, but still get a better than standard interest rate at 5% or 5.5%, and still have a lot of money in their pocket. So that's one of those options that people are dealing with. Let me see if I've missed Leslie's question. All right, I see that. I see I have another question. I don't see anything else. So feel free, write it in the chat what your question is, and I will answer that and wrap up for the evening if there aren't any more questions, and if Perry is not jumping on. This is the last question I see. I answered that one. Talked about amenities. I don't know. Anything else? Anybody else have any questions? I'm like in limbo here. I got Perry trying to log in. I want you to hear her stories because she is up and down the Carolinas selling homes, and doing a very good job at doing so and helping buyers and sellers. Uh, what does the market look like for those of us who are current homeowners but looking to purchase their next home and would like to use their current home as a rental property? Um, it looks very good, actually. Reason why I say that, and this is where just doing math and doing the numbers, you just have to make sure it works for you. Is the current home that you're going to converting into a rental property, is it in North Carolina or South Carolina? That's my first question before I answer that question. But if it's in North Carolina, it looks very good because one thing we are lacking is rentals. That's why you have all these build to rent communities, and especially if it's a single family home, you are you you you're going to make out very well. But my hesitation is, I say North Carolina because in South Carolina, if you turn your primary residence into a rental, your tax bill goes up, it triples just about. So you still have to just factor and do that math to make sure that it's still going to cash flow, you're going to break even, just like make sure it's going to make sense for you. Because if you have to pay $400 or $500 a month additionally to pay for your rental at home you're not even living in, that's not really doing you a disservice. And one thing to think about, I've had clients do this, they've pulled out some equity from their current home to use as a down payment for their new home they're buying. And again, it just comes down to doing the math as well to make sure with the first loan and then the HELOC loan that you're still able to break even or cash flow that rental property while you go ahead and buy this new construction home. How far is York from Westinghouse Boulevard? I say about 20, 25 minutes, depending on which route you go and depending on time of day. Crystal, always appreciate your insight. I really hope we did not hit an appreciation peak, given we just bought at the higher end of an area. I know where you bought because I helped you, Crystal. I don't believe so. I don't believe so, not for your area, because again, every area is a little bit different. There's significant growth heading your way, and they're taking place right now and in the future. I looked it up. So much so, I'm kind of let the cat out the bag. So much so where I'm looking at space personally, right around you all, because there is some growth and appreciation. So no, I don't think where you are, you've hit a peak. In certain areas of the Charlotte area, I do believe they have hit a peak as of right now, but not in Gastonia. What's up, Perry?
Hola.
Long time no
Hola.
see. Hold on one second. I hear you, but I hear you through my computer and not my AirPods. Where we at
Let me
here?
connect my headphones to my MacBook.
Okay. Can you all see Perry? We have a question or a comment. Communals are on the rise. They are. Communals, if those of you who are not familiar with communals, it is a single family home that is basically used as a multi-family home, meaning they rent out each bedroom. And in older neighborhoods, I actually have colleagues that they swear by communals. They make every bedroom have their own ensuite, to where if you have an older community, you can do construction on the home and nobody's really going to care about it if there's no HOA. And really, every bedroom, 4 or 5 bedrooms, has their own ensuite. So you're not sharing a bathroom with someone. Those are becoming more prevalent in the greater Charlotte area in older communities without an HOA. Because if it is an HOA, most of them want at least a year lease. They're doing away with the short-term rentals, the Airbnb stuff, but you do see more of that. So since I have you, Perry, you tell me, you're in the field. every single day. What are you seeing in the market? Buyers, sellers, what's happening?
Buyers, for me, buyers, a lot of buyers.
A lot of buyers in the market.
Hmm.
Are they able to get some deals? What's happening?
Yes, I would say a lot of buyers are able to negotiate a lot of deals now. Especially, I sell a lot of homes in South Carolina. In South
Mhm.
Carolina and North Carolina, that is a different pricing point.
Yeah.
Very different.
What's the
So they
difference? The price point you're working in now, you're not limited to this price point, but the price point you've been working in, last couple weeks.
we're not gonna
What does
say.
that look like?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, now you're up there. You're up there.
Um,
You're like a chameleon. You
I
no matter
know
where you're there.
it really all depends on
Mhm.
what works best for my client.
Right.
I would say in South Carolina, maybe a good pricing point would maybe be in the 300 range, 300 to 320, but you can get a nice house for that. I
Yeah.
was actually on the live when I was on the way home trying to get on the live, and I heard you mention York. You can get a 5 bedroom for under 400,000. That is absolutely true, and you can get the exact same house in Charlotte for about 500, 600,000. So
The exact same home. Literally, like nothing is actually
same builders.
exact same home, same builder with cheaper quality.
Yep.
As far as the siding and stuff, like in York, you get the James Hardy board siding, which is a cement composite, the best
Hmm.
siding in my opinion, not even my opinion, the best siding in the area.
For sure.
But then you go here in Charlotte, home $200,000 more, and
Mhm.
you have vinyl siding with less cheaper quality materials.
Then higher
It's all
taxes.
about location
Yeah.
and higher taxes. Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
Um, what would you like the people to know? What kind of
About
advice we've been talking about the housing market in general, how there's more homes coming to the market. Just looked at the stats. You have
mhm,
about inventories picking up a little bit, but home price or home sales are down. And what that means for both buyers and sellers, and how sellers just need to be realistic with things, and how buyers, while they're not the only ones like, individually having some hesitation or trepidation about the housing market, this is an opportunity. This is my perspective, opportunity for you to create amazing deals, right? And
mhm.
how many homes do you have under contract right now? Because you create deals. Like, you don't have a problem. Like, so Perry, she doesn't have a problem lowballing the hell out of anything.
For
Like,
sure.
you asking for 400? Why not? It's been on the market a little longer. Why can't you take 350? Right. So
Yeah.
how many deals do you have right now, and then what are they looking like?
So right now, four, and I just had one fall off. Well, you know what? I don't. It's all good. I don't need to dwell on it because you know what, sir, is
Yeah.
teaching us get multiple under contracts so that one doesn't matter. And when he said that, that stuck with me. So right now, I'm currently four, but I just locked in a listing appointment today in Monroe. So that's going to
Nice.
be coming to the market soon. About 420,000. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful home. So I'm super excited for that.
Nice.
I would say if you are in the market, or even if you're just scrolling Zillow, if you want to buy a home, do it. Do it. Because it's going to come a point where you're not going to be able to. Home prices are rising, and we can't predict those prices will drop. So no matter what you can afford, go where you can afford it. If you
Go where you can afford it.
go where you
Yeah.
can afford it, come to South Carolina and I got you. Okay? I
I'm with you. I'm
promise
with you on that. And
you.
so another conversation I was having, because I was talking about the economic uncertainty and
Hmm.
everything, and how Charlotte, um, in the rankings for the cities with the most economic unrest, is number one.
Hmm.
And I was talking, and like, which one makes more sense, buying or renting? And in my
Right.
opinion,
Hmm.
buying, like, in so many ways, it makes more sense. But especially in economically uncertain times, when you own your home, you're better protected. Our country, the tax system, respect property owners and business owners,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
It's just is what it is, right?
It
So let's
absolutely.
say let's say you come across some hard times, you lose your job, whatever it may be, and you're renting, and you can't make that rent payment, how long do you think your landlord, especially in the South, how long do you think your landlord is going to let you stay in that house before they get you out?
You have 15 days, okay?
So you're gonna miss it. You got 15 days. So you're gonna be out within 45 to 60 days. Out.
Exactly.
We just talked about with virtual business solutions. She mentioned about foreclosures, and I mentioned about notice of defaults. You don't even get the notice of default till you're 90 days behind. So you're not worried about being evicted or anything like that in a month and a half. You're able to get on your feet, get things together. You have a longer runway simply by owning the home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And God forbid, if you're renting and you have an eviction and you get kicked out, who is going to rent to you?
Yeah, because now you're stuck
Who's going
with
to rent to you?
evictions all on your
Yeah,
record.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you're going to be hamstrung because of that. You have an eviction on your credit report, but as a property owner, you can be 90 days behind. You can work with the bank. And I've seen people drag foreclosure proceedings out for 4 to 5 years. Now, 2 to 3 years is typical. I've seen 4 to 5. The most extreme one I think was like 7. Now, that's extreme. That's probably not going to happen.
He's
But
not
at least
encouraging you all to go in foreclosure, okay?
I'm
Let's
not I'm
just
not encouraging it. I'm not encouraging it, but I'm saying if
have a
you
better
come
chance.
across hard
Mhm.
times,
For
whether
sure.
you lose a job, health issues, or whatever it may be, like you're better protected as an owner than as a
Exactly.
renter. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
100%.
saying. To where, again, not everything is, yes, you look at the numbers, and owning in some instances may cost 30, 40, let's say even $100 more per month. Well, is that $1,200 more a year worth that security, knowing that if something bad happens, I'm not going to be out in the street immediately? Like the chances of you finding another job or employment is probably much greater in 90 days than in 15 or
45.
45,
Right.
right? So it's
You
just one of
gotta
those things you gotta factor in, right?
for sure.
Um, so South Carolina is where, well, you do both, but I know you crush it in South Carolina. Where now I talk about the Charlotte region. Where do you help people with? Oh, I think I lost her. Because I know she travels around South Carolina and and is able to help people, and is always messaging me about getting this MLS service or that MLS service, because she will go where service is needed, where people need help. And hopefully I didn't lose her, because I want her to share, because I don't know everywhere she goes in the state. Because again, I get her texts and calls about sign up for the Greenville MLS, sign up for the Columbia MLS. I was asking you a question, Perry.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was asking a question. Let me see if I can take this one off, about where do you service? Because I primarily talk about the Charlotte area, but I
Mhm.
know you, and I was making fun of you, that I'm always getting a text like, "Hey, can you get this MLS, or can you get that MLS?" Like, where do you service people? Because I know you'll go wherever there's a need.
Look, I'm driving. I
Yeah,
have no limit to the money. But I really enjoy Columbia. It's just a great market, and it's just you have a house to service every pricing point, in my
yeah.
opinion. And all of the builders, the same builders that are in Charlotte are there. I love Columbia. I love Lugoff, Blythewood, Elgin, Greenville.
Oh,
Those are, yeah, I
I
go.
forgot about Blythewood.
Yeah,
I love Blythewood. I like Columbia too, but
yeah.
Blythewood is, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm up super early in the morning, especially if I know I gotta drive. Yeah, this weekend was hectic, and next weekend I have a few closings, and so I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it.
A
I'm gonna
few
do it.
closings, man. That's a blessing to have.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But
that's a
I
blessing.
love the Columbia market.
Yeah.
And typically, because I have, clients down starting in the 200
Hmm.
areas, and they're getting nice homes, resale homes. Usually you have some brand new townhomes starting at
Yeah.
189. And these are good builders. So it's not like, oh, these are not good homes. These are really good builders. It's just a different market in that area.
Trying to build up near the HBCUs, Benedict and Allen. Yeah.
Mhm. For sure.
Um, no, it is a very good area. And
And you
one
got
thing
what is it? USC? USC there? US?
in Columbia, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
USC.
USC, most definitely the Gamecocks. Yeah, no, you got I when I saw in USC downtown Columbia, they
For sure.
have a amphitheater. I went and saw Hamilton there.
Okay.
We talk about being cost effective, right? It was much cheaper to go to Columbia to see Hamilton than to go to Blumenthal to see Hamilton, right? Like I love
I
Hamilton. I
cannot
can listen
picture
to
you
the
driving
soundtrack.
to Columbia, but
I went to Columbia to watch Hamilton as opposed to paying for a ticket in Bloomington in Uptown Charlotte.
for sure.
Um, I love the soundtrack. I love everything about it. But pricing is significantly different in Columbia. And again, like you said, you get the same builders. And one thing that Columbia is getting that Charlotte missed out on, I don't know who all saw in Huntersville, there was a proposal for there to be another lake, like a lagoon, a beach
Mm-hmm.
area in
Yep.
Huntersville. Well, it didn't pass in Huntersville. They shot it down. I was mad. I bought the domain. I was ready to go. I was ready to go. I'm like, it's gonna be here. I was gonna market it like no other. But the same development company was like, okay, Charlotte, you don't want it. They went to Columbia and they're doing that same concept in Columbia, and I believe the work is starting this year.
Yep.
And I still was able to get the domain, so we're able to make it happen. But no, it's
You
going to
can
be
just
a
pass it
huge.
to me. You can
Yeah,
just pass
there we go. We can make it work. We can make it work. Um, Huge, amazing waterfront, beachfront
Mm-hmm.
community in Columbia, South Carolina, which
Yes.
I would have never thought. Like you put that whole string together 5 years ago, I would have told you were a effing liar. But here we are. It will be ready in the next 2-3 years. So so I know you were in traffic. Got the listing. Congratulations. What um what part of what section of Columbia? I want to say Chapin area, like just north of Columbia,
Mm-hmm.
right around
The
there.
For the waterfront
Hmm.
properties.
It's like something Forks or something. I can't think of it exactly.
I think you
Um,
did say Chapin. I
yeah.
remember you telling me about this last year
No, I'm
sometime.
excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's going to bring a whole different demographic, right? Whole different.
You
Just
know who the builder is?
it's going to be three different builders.
Okay.
Three different builders there. Uh, we're going to have to get you. So I call you don't know this. I talk about you behind your back. I call you and Crystal peanut butter and jelly, right?
I
Because
love
y'all
Chris
y'all like this, and y'all go back and y'all. It's a healthy competition that
for sure.
I believe we just need more of, right? To where
Yeah.
you all aren't intimidated by each other's greatness or drive to succeed. You want the other person to do well, and it only pushes you to do better. We're gonna have to get both of you on next week. Are you available next week? I think I'm available. I'm available next week.
I'm gonna make myself available because if
Okay,
Crystal's gonna be here, I'm gonna be here. My
perfect, perfect.
listen. And I'm gonna wear a
Next
shirt
week,
that says on her neck. On her neck. I'm gunning for Crystal. You hear me?
I'm with it. I'm with it. We got to get y'all on next week to where we can have
Sure.
a whole conversation about one. I want you to share, or both of you to share your experience in this market in real estate, because both of you are just testimonials of what hard work. And again, we throw these terms around, but hard work, dedication, and perseverance
For sure.
is as a young or newer entrepreneur in this field. I know you're an entrepreneur and you sold things, you have other businesses, but in real estate. So and to let the public know that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? They see it on Selling Sunset and they're like, what do y'all even do, right?
Right.
But then also let other real estate professionals that may be new in the business or even experienced but have not had the successes that you've had to realize the amount of dedication and perseverance it actually takes, because you can be very close and then give up. And then all that work that you put in, we've talked about it because you thought about it.
Yes, we
Right?
have. You
all
bringing
that work you put
flashbacks.
in, all that work you put in, the grinding, the traveling, the seeds that you've been planting, if you had, went back to 9 to 5 or whatever, like you would not be seeing the fruits of your labor right now.
For sure.
Right. So I definitely want you and Crystal to get on. We can talk about the housing market and everything, because what you're doing is the housing market, but also just your own personal stories and testimonies to where people looking to buy or sell, yes, they can reach out to me, but reach out to you all because you all are amazing. So
For sure.
thank you all for rocking with us tonight. I know we went a little extra, but she was able to jump on. So I wanted to
Yeah, I
make
wanted
sure,
to jump on. Yeah, for
give her,
sure. I
give her
can't
some
wait till
time.
next week. I can't wait till next
Thank you.
week.
No, we're going to do it next week. If you all have any questions, leave it in the comment section. We'll be tracking that, and it also gives us topics to talk about next week. So any questions that you have for either one of us about the Charlotte area, about the housing market in general, reach out to us. We are here to help. And I will
Come to
also
South
have
Carolina. Come to
South
South
Carolina.
Carolina. And sir's not driving far. Okay. I will. I'll put
Here
my
you go.
foot.
Why you got to write me out? She's not lying. I don't like driving more than 10 miles. Either way. That's
I have
that's
no
me.
limit.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a gas card. I'm ready. Brand new tires. Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the best houses in the dirty South. I'm telling you.
No. And the taxes are just amazing as well. For owner
Yeah.
occupied. Owner occupied, you can't beat it. But no, thank
Especially if
you
you're
all
VA.
for
Yeah,
oh
but
yes,
we'll
yeah.
talk about it.
We'll talk about it. Stay, don't go anywhere, Perry. But no,
For
I'll
sure.
talk to you all later. Y'all have a good night.